Hey everyone, Eleanor here, and I wanted to dive into a subject near and dear to my heart, which is the difference between design and decor. We're going to talk about design thinking, try to flesh that out a little bit more so that it's abundantly clear. So, here we go. A commonly held belief in my industry that I passionately disagree with is people tend to think that interior design is exclusively a luxury service. I disagree. I believe these skills should be widely shared and people should have more access to them. What should people start doing? They should use design thinking for their home. This is interior design. It's a comprehensive system that you can apply at any level of home improvement projects. It encompasses the way your home looks. It also can help with the maintenance of your mechanicals. And maybe most critically, it can help you with the management of the contractors you need for your projects. What do I wish everyone would stop doing? Confusing design with decor. They're not the same thing. Decor services can provide you with a quick emotional uplift, and this is not a bad thing. And I'm going to illustrate this in just a second. But design is holistic. It takes on, the entirety of your home. It thinks about the user's experience. It talks about systems, and it is also about aesthetics and so much more. So, I mean, I just want to be clear. I don't disparage anyone who gets inspiration from HGTV, from various design magazines, from Instagram. I find a lot of inspiration in all of these places. I don't really watch much HGTV, I'll be honest, but all of this is primarily for marketing purposes or entertainment purposes. These are not really services for to help you with your home. They may give you ideas, but they don't really give you the design thinking element that will actually make a difference in transforming your home. So, a quick illustration of the difference between design and decor. I got help from a friend. He was actually starting a construction business and he reached out to me. He knew I'd bought this old home in Baltimore and he wanted to know where I was in my process. And I had just moved in. I was actually about to host my family for Thanksgiving. And so I was putting off the bigger project. But he came in and he looked around and he was like, hmm, what I could do is this, that, and the other thing. And so I was like, oh, that would actually be so amazing. Because for him, he was thinking, these are quick things. I could do this. This would really elevate the space. And what were those things? He pulled up old carpeting and exposed the fact that I had beautiful hardwood floors. I knew they were there, but I wasn't really thinking like how easy, difficult is it to just pull up carpeting. He re-wallpapered my bathroom. It's a small bathroom, and he re-wallpapered it, and that was a quick upgrade. He also swapped out the vanity. And another thing that was going on in my house was there were all these vinyl bifold doors. They were really old. They were cracking. They were falling apart, and they were to close off spaces between like the dining room and living room. It's actually got this very wide passageway, and so they were closed. It was a way to close them off. I didn't see the need for that. That wasn't part of my understanding of how I wanted to use this interior. He removed them. He just removed them. So these were quick fixes. They definitely made the space feel cleaner. They definitely gave me an emotional boost. But then I had to get, after Thanksgiving happened, which was very nice, a very fond memory, it was time for me to think about the bigger projects I wanted to do, mainly renovating my kitchen and installing a second bathroom on the first floor. So these are bigger projects and they are so much more comprehensive. And so this is where design thinking really comes into play. And what do we mean by design thinking? How do I use the space? My understanding of kitchens and my experience cooking. How am I going to work between the kitchen, the sink rather, the stove, and the fridge? What kind of storage do I need? So these were thinking about uses, thinking about flow, And then I was thinking also about the layout in terms of the existing conditions. I was studying where the structural components were in this part of the house. I was exploring what was possible, how I could remove walls, um, and some of them were support walls. And once I got to thinking about where I was going to add the bathroom, I was also thinking about the plumbing systems, the electrical system. After you have a kind of conversation with a client, and you're thinking through uses and flow, you're studying the interior, you're studying the existing conditions. You need ways of analyzing and ways of proposing designs. And so we do that with different drawings. We can sketch, we can make technical drawings like floor plans, we can create schematics, which are loose drawings based on the floor plans that help us explore a variety of different options. It's part of like this visualizing the solutions is also part of this. And then learning also how to understand what are the technologies that need to be integrated. Does the electrical system support it? Or are we also using some newer sustainable systems that need to be integrated? How does that play into the design as well? So, and the success of an interior design project is how well we handle all these different modalities. It's really unfortunate that more people don't understand the value of interior design services or think of it as only a luxury service, because there's really nothing else as all inclusive that homeowners can take advantage of for the support of their home. And the underlying problem that that gets at is that a lot of people don't know how their home works. If you're afraid of going into a certain part of your home, that's a clue. That's really just an indicator of there's an unknown there that you're trying to that you need to find out about. And I say that, like from experience working with clients, when they understand what's going on in this dark part of their basement or in the soffit that they can't see, once they go and look at it and then they have a conversation with someone like me who is like, yeah, no problem. Here's the person you need to call, deal with that, and then we'll move on to the next thing. We'll repaint it. We'll put in a better vent. We'll just improve the whole situation. Then this like problem solved, stress gone, uh, confidence as well. And this is such a huge part of it. I learned this the hard way. I was a relatively new designer when I came to Baltimore and I was rehabbing vacant houses. And I really got in over my head. Parts of these spaces that were pretty uncomfortable. There was some of these houses hadn't been opened in 20, 30 years. So there was incredible mold and mildew. I would go in with a big respirator. But the thing that would happen ultimately is that, we would take out everything that was moldy and then we would install everything new and that smell would be gone. There were no hidden spaces. There were no unknowns. We'd exposed everything. That thorough excavation of the interior is really what the power of design showed me at the time. We were not just dealing with the surfaces of the walls. We were examining the whole wall, the thickness, what was between the wall, what was the exterior, making sure the exterior was sound, putting new insulation between the exterior and the interior drywall, putting up new interior drywall. It was a new house basically from the brick in. The other piece that's really critical and that I get very excited about, and it was a big part of me launching Refuge Design Workshop, was the idea that people would know so much about their homes, they would know so much about the design process and what they wanted and how it should be done, that they would be able to manage contractors really well. They would no longer be subject to a contractor who wants to take advantage of them because they would be able to spot that contractor right away. I didn't have it that way when I first started. I had to learn contractor management basically from scratch. So one time hired a contractor to help me finish this foundation work that I was doing on one of these old row houses. He said to me, "Eleanor, we're ready for concrete on Monday. I just need $1,500 to put for the deposit with the concrete guys." And said something like, "All right, you gonna send me I need some kind of receipt. I need some kind of proof that this is actually the cost." And he said, "Yeah, I emailed you already." I didn't have a way of verifying that at the time in person, so I believed him. And I shouldn't have. I didn't know this guy very well. Well, next thing he does is he takes my $1,500 and goes to upstate New York and spends the week drinking. He disappears. I only heard that he went on a a bender because he was referred to me by my plumber. And I mean, long story short, the plumber called me like the next day and he was like, "Have you seen Patrick? Whatever you do, don't give him any money." And I was like, "Well, I just gave him $1,500." He's like, "I wish you hadn't done that." And that's when I found out, like, he's not coming back. That concrete is not gonna get poured unless I go ahead and orchestrate the whole thing. So, that was a really hard lesson to learn. I was really angry, and I have never made that mistake again. And my goal here is that no one else ever has to make that mistake. The construction industry is notorious for a reason. There are really great contractors out there, great people with great integrity who are going to give you honest, reliable advice, but there are many who won't and who will take advantage of you and for whatever reason will disappear on you. So, this most often happens when you don't know what you need for your home, when you're relying on the contractor to fill in all that information, all that knowledge gap. So, you want to do some of that work yourself. Have your own base of knowledge about your home, about how it works. Then you're more impervious. Then you can't be taken advantage of. And this is the other part of it. When you have these skills, you can share them. So, you can tell a friend, you can tell your family member, you can share it with your kids. You can prepare them to be homeowners who come into a home and understand. They go down to the basement, they understand the systems that they look at. They understand how things work, what is the plumbing wall, and so on. Remember, interior design isn't just about making your home look good, it's about making it work for you and your lifestyle. When you have interior design principles under your belt, you can make informed decisions about your home and your well-being. And for some people, that decision-making part is actually is one of the other big obstacles, one of the big hurdles to making things happen for the home. But when you have a system and you work through it, whether it's, exploring different options with schematics or gathering your samples and understanding color theory or, assessing the mechanicals and what's viable and understanding the structure and what's viable, then your decision-making process is more methodical and then you can find the optimal choice. You often don't know what it is until you've done all those things. Okay, so that's the end of my spiel. If you want to join me, hang in here for just a few more minutes. I'm going to do this little experiment, this little interactive moment. So, this is like part of design thinking. You could think of this as like an interview I would have with you if you were my client. And we're going to think about the flow in your home. So, think for a moment about your morning routine. You wake up and you're like, "I'm awake." And you sit up and you put your feet down. Where do you go from there? Where do you go immediately? And then what is your path through your home? So where is your first stop and then where do you go next? And then on in that path, what are the bottlenecks? Are there any friction points? Where in that path do you have a little friction point? Now, what you can do is draw make a quick drawing, and it doesn't have to be to scale. So this would just be a sketch. Sketch out make a rectangle for your bed, and then make a bigger rectangle for the room that it's in. Make rectangles to connect your hall. A set of stairs can be also a rectangle or a series of little rectangles. Make a floor plan of this path and then play around. See what could happen to help you improve the flow in your home. All right, as always, I am Eleanor. My business, Refuge Design Workshop, can be found at refugedesignworkshop.com. There's some contact forms there. You can also find me on Substack, Eleanor Graves Substack. I think if you just go to Substack and look for Refuge Design Workshop, that's the best way to find it. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching.